what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
No, I know I got more than this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 59, volume 4 of the 33rd most popular podcast this side of the Catawba River. Welcome to Big Fan. My name is Chad East, and I'm a big fan of the kickoff to the Chinese New Year when it's the year of the tiger. And I am a tiger. Growl. The end of dry January, so everyone can quit lying about their alcohol consumption. And last but not least, the birth of another niece for the East family, Elder family, Mrs. Evelyn Marie Elder, or Evie, as she will be called. She's 2 weeks old today.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to say I'm a big fan of Dryuary coming to an end, but I'm not a big fan of three things. My name's Hank Eimer, and I'm not a big fan of COVID, rapid strep, and throat cultures done at the same time. Dogs that decide that they're not going to listen to you at the age of 8. It's horrible. And last but not least, the medical community changing the age when certain procedures need to be done from 50 to 45.
Hank, I'm afraid I know all too well about that one, too. Let's just go ahead and start there.
Do we want to start there?
Let's go start there because I don't want to save it to the end. Let's just go ahead and get it over with. So the procedure you're talking about is the infamous colonoscopy.
You said that awful. Colonoscopy.
Colonoscopy. Okay, yes. So you're right. I got my physical 3 months ago, and they...
Clean bill of health?
Yes.
I doubt
100% clean.
Lab work okay?
Perfect. But anyway, they were like, hey, we're not going to do this now, but did you know the new ruling or the new thing is out that you need to have your colonoscopy? Because it was supposed to be a little bit later. 50, right? Now they moved it up to 45.
45.
So mine is scheduled for a couple
months. And you're 47. So, I mean, you're beyond the mark.
I'm past the mark. But they just announced this a couple months ago.
Right.
So you've experienced this colonoscopy.
So, I got my physical couple months ago, earlier in 2021. And you remember that I had this basal cell thing that had to be cut out of my face, right?
I see it.
Well, they had a captive audience because they just cut something out of my face. And he said, because we're trying to prevent things from happening, like the growth of this, we probably need to have a colonoscopy. So I was shook, at the get-go, but I said, all right, reluctantly. So I scheduled it in dry January, which is an awful move. Oh, it's an awful move because you got weeks to think about this thing.
Sure.
It was last Wednesday. So the thing that I wasn't prepared for is people said it's not the procedure that's terrible, it's the prep, right? Because they say you have to you got to drink all this stuff. Now, there's multiple ways to prepare for it. They have the old way is the way I did it, and I didn't know that there's anything that you could do differently.
The old way.
All right? So if they tell you were going to just do the old way, you say no. You say no, okay? Because they have a formula. The way I did it is they give you what looks like a plastic container that holds antifreeze. Okay, and there's powder. There's about 2 inches of powder on it. Yeah. And you fill this thing up to this line. You drink half of it, which is 68 ounces. 2 liters, my friend.
Gee.
You drink it, and you start at 6 p.m. From 6:30 to 11, it's on. It's clearing you out, bud.
Really?
It's on.
What does it taste like exactly?
Imagine some water. Here, our producer has this up. It's the third one.
I see. Okay.
It's that one right there, okay? This is what you get, and you have to, it is a ton.
Terrible.
It is a ton of stuff. So you drink 2 liters, and it tastes like, imagine, I did it 8 ounces at a time. Imagine a cup of water that's 8 ounces, so not a lot of water,
yeah.
with a Goodies powder
that
that has very little lime
Just a
tint to it. Just
a hint of lime.
So I drank the first one, and I was like, this ain't that bad. You get through the first liter. Think about that. Your first liter, and it's over.
Can you chase it with like Gatorade or Coke or something?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't like
clear
shoot
liquid.
it. You
Now,
just gotta chug it down.
Listen, you got to do. The worst part is if you have the procedure in the morning, you have to take the second half of it 6 hours before. So you're waking up at 2 a.m.
Oh, and drinking some more?
and drinking 2 more liters.
liters?
Okay, and like I told you, when you get this down, it's on. Okay, for hours. Okay, so
Like, how many trips to the bathroom are we talking about?
10, 12. Wow. 10, 12. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So after that, you get in the procedure room, and you're all prepped. You strip down. You talk to your anesthesiologist. My guy was great. He was kind of retired from the military, but he still wanted to work. Young guy. Then they pull you in the room, and you don't know what you're dealing with here, right?
Sounds nerve-wracking.
Don't know what you're dealing with. But when I'm in the room, my nurse anesthetist says, "Hey, man, couple seconds. Where do you want to go? You want to go to the beach? You want to go to the mountains?" He was like, setting me up for a ride.
Space.
And I said, man, I just want to get through this. He was like, "Oh, we'll get through it." And he started to put the propofol, which is what Michael Jackson died from,
Mm-hmm.
And so he started to put the into the IV that I had.
Sure.
And he goes, I was like, how long before this takes hold? He's about 30 seconds. I was like, 30 seconds, huh? He's like, yep. I'm going to start looking like Billy D. Williams here in a minute. And I was like, I doubt it. And so he's like, how about now? I said, nope. It's 20 seconds later. He's like, now? I said, nope. And he said, I started to waver. And he said, night, Hank.
See ya.
And I went down like that. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, that drug is the perfect drug because I woke up and I didn't feel bad at all. No, you know how like anesthesia, you have a hangover kind of. I felt great. Procedure was done. I was like, it was seconds. It felt like I was well rested.
Really?
It was amazing. So the procedure, you don't want to know what's going on.
You don't normally get knocked out, though, for a colonoscopy, though, do you?
Yes, you do.
I did not know that. I thought you just sat there
No,
and
sir.
took it.
No, it took it.
I thought that's how it went.
It.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of doctor you go to, but I am not a fan of him. Okay?
This makes me feel a lot better.
Dude, you're getting knocked out. You're getting knocked out.
Okay, I did not
You're
realize
getting knocked
that.
out. You get medication,
Okay.
and when you wake up, they're wheeling you into recovery. So
Good to know.
Good to know. The first part of it is awful. Okay, the prep.
Yeah.
The second part, I'm sure, is awful. You just don't know anything about it.
Right.
But it was after the procedure. I mean, I walked down to Reagan's car. They won't let you drive home, obviously, but I walked down, got in the car. It was fun.
So now that you're an old pro at this, you told me not to do it the old way. I need to ask for the new way. What is the new way?
So the new way, they say they have like 16 ounces of that stuff, and you drink. It's like super concentrated bowel destroyer or something like that. I don't know. But you just drink 16 ounces twice, but you have to do it like twice. It's not that the whole container of it. And then they said there's another way that they give you like 12 pills. You have like 24 pills, and you do 12 pills and then 12 more pills.
I'm more of a pill guy.
I like the idea. I didn't know I had an option.
Yes.
I didn't know I had an option. And somebody was telling me, they were saying, oh, it's so much cheaper to do the old way. And I was like, well, it was $4. And so I was thinking maybe the pills are like $300.
It was like
$80.
Yeah.
And I was like, $80 is worth it.
Sign me up for the pills.
Yeah, sign me up for the pills. Yeah, exactly. So when is yours scheduled? I want to make sure that I am down in the parking lot with some popcorn. I'm going to be throwing stuff at the window.
It's within a month and a half. I think it's March. So what are we? February? Yes. March.
Yes, I'm family of the East. I run a
We're here
podcast.
to pick him up. Yes.
Actually, let's do it live. Let's do the podcast.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Well, he asked me, where do you want to go? You said you don't know. Let's get this over with. I'm going to say space. I really am. Let's go to Saturn, Doc.
Let's go to Saturn.
Go to Saturn.
All right.
Let's see how it is up there.
All
anyway,
right.
I'm glad you made it through. Thank you for making me feel a little bit better that I know if you did it, then I know I can get through this, right? No problem.
I think you're good.
Yeah. So, Hank, you're through dry January. You're through. Yes, congratulations. Some little birdie told me that, dry January really didn't end till, I think it was Monday. That's February 1. but someone told me that you ended it a little bit early. You wanted to start the end of January on Friday night. Is that correct?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, Chad.
Tell me.
Okay. January is about rules. Okay. You have to live by certain rules. Okay. And there's governing bodies to these rules. Okay. So you have to join a Dryuary club.
Okay.
Okay. You have to be
thank you.
part of a team. Okay. You have to be part of a team. And we were part of a team. Some of the guys don't know the rules and they get upset by that. Okay. They get upset that they don't know the rules. Okay. One of the rules are if January 1st falls on a weekend, you start on the first Monday.
Seems like a fair rule.
It's the only rule.
Seems like
It's
a
the
fair
only rule. It's the only rule. Okay.
Yes.
Next rule is you get one carve out. Just one. Maybe it's a weekend game, something like that. You can
A whole weekend or just
No,
an
a-
evening?
an evening.
Just
One
one
carve out.
one day, one evening. Got it.
carve out. One carve out.
Got it.
Okay. And the final thing is the 31st falls just beyond the weekend.
Yes.
And you said Monday, but it first was actually on Tuesday. The rules committee can make up a judgment call on where it should end. And we did. And there's certain people that are out there now wanting to start their own Dryuary group to compete with our group.
I see.
Okay?
Yes.
But I think our rules are, hey, they're stern but fair.
Fair.
Okay? We're fair.
Yes.
Okay? If we need to deviate, we deviate. We had somebody that had to go on a business retreat.
Yes.
He said, I cannot go on this business retreat without it. What did we let him do? We let him live.
Yes.
We sent that little bird out of the nest.
What about if a birthday falls? A birthday falls during the month of January. A birthday that is yours or someone that's close to you.
Well, I kind of feel like you'll be searching out birthdays on Facebook at that point.
That person you haven't talked to since third grade. Hey, my man's birthday is the 17th of January. I'm going to have to celebrate with him, right?
Yeah. Look, it's Casey Goodwin's birthday. Is he in town? No, he's in Raleigh, but we're going to drink
We're
together
going to celebrate
over
Zoom.
FaceTime.
Yes, we're Zooming
Yeah,
together.
no,
Okay.
so no, you can't. I think there's some limits. And I believe me, the rules that we just stated, I think are fair. I think most of us can live with these.
Sure.
Okay.
Were you the only one that made it following these rules? Did everyone fall by the wayside that was in your club?
It would be easy for me to say who won, who didn't, okay? And, we don't take score. It's about a personal journey.
Sure.
Okay?
Yes.
It's about a personal journey, how you live your life. I'm not judging. I'm not judging my fellow competitors. I'm not judging what they do. If they had a very fulfilling Dryuary, hey, kudos to you, big
to go,
guy.
big- yeah, way
I'll
to go,
see you
fella.
next year. Okay. Some of them said that they didn't feel that fulfilled. Maybe it's because they cheated and they wanted to run it back in February.
You're kidding me.
I think it's because they cheated.
I think the cheating I think you're right.
Okay.
I think that is probably the reason. Can we talk about who fell off? I mean, we don't know names. Anybody not make it more than a week?
For sure.
Several
For
members of
sure.
the club. Okay.
Yeah. So and let me paint the picture here. When we first started this, we had solid 6 guys charging into January.
They wanted it. Yeah.
Wanted it. And you know what ironically is the best part of this whole thing? Every one of them about December 28th started to get physicals set up for January, just so their liver enzymes could be right on cue. You know, they got about 20 days of
funny.
nothing in their
Yes,
system.
yes.
So you would not imagine the amount of procedures and physicals that were given during the month of January. It's unbelievable. It's genius.
Busy month for the physicians here in Hickory, North
It was a
Carolina.
busy
in
month. It was a
January.
busy month. But the second thing is that I feel like the individuals that started with us, they had very good intentions, right? They just had no willpower. Sure. And I got to tell you, one of the guys that we know well, he just set himself up for failure, okay?
Yes.
One of his favorite things to do is play tennis. And after tennis, loves to enjoy a beer, right? Loves to enjoy. Ironically, he's calling Chad right now.
He's calling me at this moment. This
Right.
is crazy. Go ahead.
Loves a
Get
good
him on
beer.
the show.
Get him on the show. Loves a beer after tennis. 36 hours after we started, he was down.
He was down.
He was down.
for the count. Love it.
And if that would have been his carve out, We would have let him have that
Acceptable.
garbage. But that is a hard line that early.
Sure. 36 hours in.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
How'd you do on January, that dry-uary? I'm sorry.
I didn't even attempt it.
You
I
didn't?
never said I would do it. I never planned to do it. I'm just going to go along.
Moderation.
Go along with my life as it is
Moderation.
in moderation.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's two teams, it looks like. There's Team A and Team B out there for dry-uary. You're with me, buddy. Okay, next year. If you want to go, you're
I'll roll
on
with the
Team
big
Iron.
dog.
Okay.
I'll roll with the big
You're on
dogs.
Team
Thank you
Iron.
very much, Hank. Thank you very much. All right, friends. So a lot of stuff has happened since the last time we spoke to our wonderful audience here on Big Fan. One thing, and I've been feeling a little nostalgic over the last several weeks, Hank. So this restaurant that's been in Hickory for a long, long time called the Hickory Smokehouse, it came around in 1986. They closed their doors this weekend, and it was a sad day. I wish the family, everybody's cool. It's just hard to get people to work.
Yeah,
and
terrible.
Costs of everything are just skyrocketing. So anyway, they decided to close the doors. And as we went there Jennifer picked us up some food on a Friday, I remember calling my mom and say, "Oh, Mom, can you believe they're closing? It's so sad." I remember when I was a young boy and we'd go eat there. And she and I just started shooting the bull, and we started thinking about things back in my childhood that were around then and that are gone now. And so one of the spots, and this really goes out to a lot of the Hickory folks who have lived here for a long, long time, they'll remember this. And if you're not from Hickory, you might enjoy reminiscing about some of these stores because you might have had them in your downtown area or your mall where you grew up. But we had this little place called the Catawba Mall, Hank. It was a little old mall. It's now where the U-Haul place is.
A lot of storage.
Tons of storage there. And at the Catawba Mall, which was built in 1968, Hank, 1968. I remember going there as a young child. There was a place inside the mall, and it was called, and I did not remember this, but it was called The Establishment. And it was a restaurant that actually kind of sat in the middle of the mall with people after work on a Friday. They'd meet their friends there, have a drink, have a cocktail, whatever they do. And I remember my mom would pick my brother and I up, and they would be at the Establishment with my dad and their friends, and there was a little arcade there.
Yep, I remember.
Do you remember the name of the arcade there?
No, I don't.
It was called Time Out.
That was at the Valley Hills, buddy.
It started at Catawba, and it moved to Valley Hills. It started at Catawba.
All right, I got to have some proof of this.
It's Google it. All right, Google it. So anyway, Time Out was there. Do you remember the main hubs of Catawba Mall were JCPenney?
Yep.
Roses was in there.
Yep.
I don't remember Roses being in there, but I read an article today. Belk Broom, not Belk, but Belk Broom, and Spain Hours.
Spain Hours, I remember.
You remember? So I
Yep.
vaguely remember Spain Hours. There was a supermarket
Don't remember that.
called Big Star. No recollection of Big Star. It was outside. You could get to it. It was like part of the mall, but it kind of stood up by itself, right? Also, a Radio Shack was in there.
I do remember the Radio Shack.
A shoe store called Kenny's. Do you remember? I vaguely remember
Don't.
Kenny's. Music Eye. The record store Music Eye was in there. Do you recall?
EYE?
EYE. Music Eye. Eckerd's Drugs was in there.
Okay.
Bombarders. Do you remember you bought little gifts, candles,
Yeah.
candelabras,
Yeah.
gift cards, envelopes.
I was going to say gift cards. Nobody had gift cards back then.
Or-
They had envelopes.
Envelopes,
It
yes.
was yeah.
Bingo, yes. Orange Julius. Now I have. Do you remember this? Orange
I don't
Julius
remember
sat
it.
kind of in the middle.
I don't remember Orange Julius.
It's the first.
I do remember Orange Julius. I don't remember him being there.
Orange Julius sponsored my 6th grade soccer team, and I remember never even tasting an Orange Julius. Like, what, Mom? What is an Orange Julius? So one day after the game, she took me to experience an Orange Julius for the first time, and it was a life-changing.
You're a fan.
Yeah,
You could be in the
life-changing.
fan club. They have a fan
Orange
club.
Julius- of course they do. A couple other stores in there. Stag Cutters was a haircut place. Peanut Shack lived there for a little bit before it went to Valley Hills. And Melville's. Do you remember Melville's?
I do remember Melville's.
One that you brought up to me was called ski and tennis
Or
or tennis and ski, right?
Dude, yes. I remember that store.
I remember it too. Did it? You think it turned into? I was thinking maybe it turned into Cooks that went uptown. Maybe.
I mean, it was definitely a sports store.
Yes.
But I remember going in there one day and getting a CB jacket to ski.
Yes, absolutely.
And whatever happened to the CB jacket? That might be something to look into.
We
Those
might need
things
to
were
pick us up a
nice.
couple. Let's pick us up a couple CBs. And then last but not least, Hank, there was a little theater. It was 2 theaters. That's all that made up this little cinema.
Right.
It was called the Terrace Theater. Do you remember it?
Oh, it was outside.
It was outside, away from the. It was in the parking lot of the mall, but it was down below.
Yeah, for sure.
Two theaters. I would never forget Catawba Mall. Well, in 1978, Valley Hills Mall comes to Hickory. Newer, bigger, greater, supposedly. At one time, Catawba Mall had Belk, JCPenney's. Valley Hills Mall had Belk and JCPenney's. Well, after a year or two, they left. Catawba Mall slowly shuttered, right? No more Catawba Mall.
I remember they had Jazzercise on the back. They had like we'd be going to the movies, and you'd see ladies going in there doing Jazzercise in the back of the mall.
Exactly. Gold's Gym opened in the back of Catawba Mall when all the stuff started closing, right? So I've learned all this stuff this week just going down the Google rabbit hole of nostalgic stuff in the 1980s. But here's the stuff that in the Valley Hills Mall, tell me if you remember these stores. Obviously, you've got the Belk. Sears was one of the big ones in there. Chickwig.
I do. Chickwig. Come on now.
Who's going to forget Chickwig? That's
Chickwig.
Casey Goodwin's. Every time, like when we were in high school, we'd go to the mall just to hang out. He would always make sure that we at least did a drive-by by Chickwig. Just walk by, check it out in there. Bingo. Bear Tracks.
Yes.
Wonderful memories of Bear Tracks.
Bear Tracks.
Candies in there. I think you could get stickers and all kinds of stuff when you're little. Wonderful. Peanut Shack, as I mentioned, at Catawba, came over to Valley Hills. Spencer's, still there.
Still there.
Edible underwear, fart spray.
Oh, yeah.
You name it, you can get it.
Wu-Tang shirts.
Bingo. Yes, whatever you want, it's in there. Do you remember a little old store that we would walk by and smell? Called the Pipe Shop.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that smell that would come out of there? It was so good.
About once a year, you or your buddies used to buy a Zippo lighter. Of
course.
You know, get one of those Zippo lighters.
Yes, and you'd lose it after 3 days,
Yeah.
but at least you had that Zippo. Because when the first day that you got that Zippo, you thought you were the king ding-a-ling. You were the man.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were. And then you'd be like, what? I got to buy Flints now? And I got to buy.
That's when you would lose it.
Yeah.
You got to get the fluid and the flints. Oh,
I
don't
can't
need
do
this.
that.
Gotta go get 99 cent one.
Can I ask if you're going to say this store and you might be saying it that was in there?
Sure.
Did you ever buy any clothing from the merry-go-round?
Yes, I did.
Did you buy some of the pants, those big wide leg pants?
I don't really remember what I bought in there, but I remember going in there to shop. I think Casey Goodwin, it's so funny that you mentioned Casey. I think Casey Goodwin's sister, Wendy, worked in the merry-go-round.
That doesn't surprise me.
If I'm not mistaken, she'd drive up in her yellow Prelude, pop out, go into merry-go-round, give us discounts on clothing if we needed. You know, she had the store discount. Couple more stores, Hank, and let's focus a little bit on that little food court. And they had timeout or there was station break and timeout. Can't remember if they were the same one or were there two arcades possibly?
It was timeout was back in that corner by the door.
By the door.
And then right across, remember, was where they would sell the Ninja Stars.
Yeah.
The guy, I think he did shoe repair and
Ninja
sold
Stars?
Ninja Stars, and he
Right,
had
yes.
nunchucks and stuff.
Sure, of
and so,
course.
like, you'd come out of there and you'd be like, Mom, we got to get a Ninja Star.
Gotta get a star, yeah.
My brother got Ninja boots. One day, you know, the
Didn't even know
two-toed.
that existed.
The two-toed.
Yes. Wow. See, isn't it fun walking down memory lane?
Go ahead, let's talk about these.
So the pizza's place in there, what was it called?
Dante's.
Of course. And wasn't it good pizza?
It was great.
Fantastic.
And it was
pizza.
run by the Miller family
Bingo.
for a solid 12 years.
Absolutely.
Maybe 15.
Absolutely. So so you had Dante's over there kind of in the corner. You had that Peanut Shack place that was over here. What were the other, was there a Chinese place in there?
Chick-fil-A was in there.
Chick-fil-A was in there, yes.
Okay, so
You're
Chick-fil-A
right.
was in
Chick-fil-A.
there. Okay.
Yeah. Was there a hokey? There was another type of
Euro.
Gyros.
Yep, there's a Euro.
Okay.
And my favorite, I cannot believe you forgot this, Corn Dog 7.
Corn Dog 7.
Corn Dog 7. Yes.
I think they had icy machine. They had icy machine at Corn Dog 7, right?
I think there was an Asian food.
There
but
had to be.
Like
Had to
I
be.
think Arby's was in there too.
May have been.
And so, but Chick-fil-A was when you're walking into the food court from the elevators, because, you know, they had the elevated part right there where the
did.
chairs were.
They
It was Chick-fil-A was on your right. the Euro place and Corn Dog 7 and maybe an Asian place.
Had to be
and
an
then
Asian place. Dante's in the
right
corner.
there. And then, there was the wall to go back to the bathroom.
Yes.
And then the first store right there was a music shop. It was I don't remember the name
Disc
of it.
jockey, record bar.
It was Disc Jockey because Record Bar
Record bar's
was
further down the
next to the peanut place.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Yeah. Do you also in there? I know there was a pretzel place somewhere, Pretzel Time or something, kind of, but not in the food court. Maybe a little bit off the beaten path.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Yeah. But my favorite place in the entire mall, Hank, I will never forget this place. Many a date, many a party, many trying to sneak a beer out of there. Annabelle's.
Sure.
Do you remember when Annabelle's was there? It was, so right when you walk in that side entrance, Annabelle's was right there.
Yep. It's where the now the glasses place is
Glass
there.
place, yes, the
Yeah,
glasses
the
place.
But Annabelle's was great because my mom and dad used to go there after work and bring us there, and they'd have all those table games like the Pac-Man and stuff.
Scramble, I think it was called Scrambler or Defender or something like that, right? What a
So we
great
used
place.
to sit there and we used to play, and my parents used to have dinner, and it was great.
How many dates did you go on in there? Because everybody in Hickory would go on a date at Annabelle's, at least one.
Yeah, I probably only had a handful. You got to remember, I'm a lot younger than you, so that place is probably shut down well before I got my license. But I do remember going. I remember going out there like on not a juniorettes thing, but like one of those dress up kind of like cotillion kind of things.
Yep.
I do remember going out there for that.
So right before Annabelle's closed, I was in college, and I think we came back, and we all had fake IDs. I want to say I was 19, and had this fake ID where we could put a stencil, and you cover up your age, you switch it to whatever it needed to be. So 3 of us went in there. I remember sitting at the bar, ordered a beer, sweating bullets. Like, what am I doing at Annabelle's ordering a beer? We're going to get busted.
principal's getting ready to walk in here.
We are going to get busted. But sure, it was over Christmas break, and I think it was Casey and I and maybe Hunter, and drank that beer, and I wanted to get out of there just as soon as possible. Let's don't risk this. Let's get out of here. Let's go somewhere where they don't know us, and we'll just buy some illegal beer at a convenience store, right? So anyway, one beer, got out of there, and then shortly after, Annabelle's, it was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, when you graduated high school, was it still there?
No, I don't think so.
It was gone.
You know the funny thing about Annabelle's, if you remember walking in there, it was like a handicap nightmare. You remember there was like 75 levels. It would be
course.
like 3 stairs,
Yes.
then there'd be like 4 tables, then there'd be like
Right.
6 stairs, and then there'd be like 12 tables, and it was like
Absolutely.
Cubert. Remember,
Yes.
it was like
Yes.
moving around. It was not handicap friendly.
That is so funny that you remember. I even want to think that when you walked in, the bar, you might have had to even go down.
You did have to go down.
It was down a little
It'd
bit.
go like 4 stairs down, then it flattened.
Then it flattened out, and that was the bar. That is so
So when you
wild.
walked in, you actually looked down on it.
Right.
You saw everybody that was in there.
Exactly. I'd love to see a diagram or a picture of that place again, just to see if our memory is accurate to how we remember it, which we can probably find. But anyway, Hank, I wanted just to walk us down that memory lane. Remember Catawba Mall, Valley Hills Mall in its heyday, Hickory Smokehouse, obviously. You know, one thing that's still standing, which just is amazing to me, is putt-putt. Putt-putt is still live and kicking.
Our good friend Daniel Willis still does father-son tournaments every week there.
Addison does the same.
And he's a dangerous man.
I love it. I love it. Well, anyway, Hank, I'm glad we walked down that little nostalgic road, and we got to reminisce. It was really, really good thinking about those places again. So, buddy, why don't we stay in this old school theme? And you're the big eater of the podcast.
You're really unbelievable.
Everyone really knows you like your snacks. So as we were, going through this Christmas holiday and into the new year, Jennifer and I went to the grocery store to buy our kids their snacks for their lunch and all this good stuff. And before we go into the story, when you were in high school, were you a buy your lunch in the cafeteria or bring your lunch packed and ready to roll?
No, I went through this kind of thing where I was like, in elementary school, it was all because it was about the chocolate milk. You had to get the chocolate milk. So I was just school. I was a school guy.
Right.
Then I got to middle school and I packed my lunch. Mm-hmm. Then when I got to Hickory High and they had chicken nuggets and
pizzas,
pizza,
donuts.
and fries and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
So I went back and forth.
Got you. I was always a cafeteria guy. Never really packed my lunch. I think maybe one time ever in my school history did I bring a lunch. It was always cafeteria, but my girls, they're always packing lunch. That's what we do. So started making me think about back in the day when we're in elementary school. Let's stay in elementary school, maybe into junior high a little bit. But you know, your mom would always put those snacks, and they were the same snacks most of the time. Sometimes you see a commercial on television say, Mom, make sure you get those snacks at the grocery store. Or if not, it's the same old ones that you've always had. Hank, I want you to rank your top 5 snacks as a young lad going to, where'd you go to school? Viewmont Elementary as a young bear. What did Mommy pack Mr. Hanky?
What did Mommy
pack Mr. Hanky in his lunch satchel?
Okay, I've got a couple that I'll just go ahead, and I'm not ranking these by anything. But my first one is just straight nostalgia. Okay,
Yes.
just straight nostalgia. Potato straws.
Oh,
You remember those?
How can I forget? They came in that little can, right? The can, pull the top off.
Yeah, it looked like just shreds of.
Yes.
They were potato chips.
Yes.
But they were like straws.
And I'll be honest with you, if you got the potato straws, your mom must really love you. I didn't know hardly anybody that got that as a snack. It was really special if someone brought potato straws to the lunchroom table.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
Very, very
I know.
special.
Now, listen. Yeah, you put it on me. I'm an eater, right?
Yes.
I've got 15 of these.
Go.
Okay,
Let's roll.
I got
Yes.
15 of them.
Let's go.
Potato straws, definitely. Pinwheels. You remember the cinnamon pinwheels? They'd come 2 to a pack.
Of course.
I mean, the 2 pinwheels would light you up.
Did they have a pecan flavor of a pinwheel possibly? Do you know what I'm saying?
Probably,
Yeah,
but
okay,
the ones I had were doughy, cinnamon.
Of
You'd
course.
pull them
Pull
apart
2
till you
in
got to the
two in-
middle,
of course,
right?
2 in the packet. Yeah.
So the pinwheels were the thing. Okay. How about the ice cream cup with the wooden spoon?
Oh, yes.
Okay, it was like a little miniature oar that you had to eat with. Okay.
And sometimes the ice cream would have the swirl already in it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Doritos, obviously important. Swiss cake rolls, right up there.
Yes.
We talked about this off the air. Fruit roll-ups.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to start talking about like a little bit different, like a little bit different thing.
Before you do, I know you're the big eater, but there was one little snack that I'd always have to have. Remember the container had 4 little crackers and the cheese on the
Yeah,
side?
and they had the red
little
spoon.
Or it's not really an oar, but a little stick.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little red stick.
Yeah.
And that, we had those.
Yeah.
I remember eating those
Yeah,
snacks.
peanut and the peanut butter cracker makes me think of that. But okay, oatmeal cream pies. I think I ate those by the dozen. Of
course.
When I was in middle school and elementary school. Okay. The thing that the last one I'm going to say is when you would pull out your pinwheel or your potato straw,
Yeah.
or your fruit roll up, and you were celebrating it,
Yes.
and your boy across the table pulls out ants on a log. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, man, I'm sorry, I'm not switching you one for the other. They'd be like, come on,
there you go.
You get celery, peanut butter, and a raisin. No, I'm good, man. I'm all
Ants
good.
on a log. That's fabulous.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we have. And then peanut butter crackers. When my brother and I started hitting middle school and started eating a bunch, my mom would be like, "You can't eat the groceries. You cannot do it." Because I remember one time. This is the time that it broke the camel's back. My mom came in. She had turkey for sandwiches, right? My brother opened up the turkey, had a pound of turkey. He grabbed it, ripped it in half, gave me half. He had half, and we ate it like barbarians.
Oh, my Lord.
And my mom was looking at it, and she was like, that was, $14 worth of turkey that was done. And she was like, from this point forward, you can have a sleeve of crackers and all the peanut butter you want. Mm-hmm. So we would sit there after school and just go through sleeves of peanut butter crackers.
That's hilarious. A couple of things that my mom will probably hate me saying this on our podcast. Because she is our number one listener. So I was at summer camp, and summer camp wasn't like summer camp where you go off. It was summer day camp. They'd have it at Jenkins, and Viewmont had one. And so you go to Cool Park and Putt Putt or Bowling Alley, whatever. So I don't know if we were like really poor or if my mom and dad just really chose the worst types of food for us to eat. Do you know what deviled ham is?
Sure.
My mom would buy this pack, and I will never forget it was a white package, and it had a devil's face on or a devil, and it was some type of gross pate looking.
It's like Spam.
It's like Spam, and she
Yeah.
would put it on white bread, right?
Sure.
White bread. That was our lunch. And not only they have the white container, but then there was a black one, a gray one, and all these different mixtures of deviled ham. That's it right there.
That's
See it?
the deviled ham
That
right there.
is it.
Our producer
Yes.
just pulled up some pictures of it.
And so anyway, she must have thought I loved this stuff because I got it in my lunchbox every day of summer camp. The other thing was pretty weird. So instead of buying like Slim Jim, that's the real name brand Slim Jim, there would be little Slim Jim lookalikes that were generic that would just say Slim. So we couldn't even buy the whole Slim Jim. We're just buying Slims. And I'll never forget this too. Remember the little juice boxes? They were like shaped like this. They were about this tall and they had aluminum foil you would peel off. And the juice was just straight sugar water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they look like barrels.
Yes, they look like barrels or like bowling pins,
Yeah,
possibly.
barrels.
Yeah, and so we'd have like 1 week it'd be green, and then you'd have a purple one.
Yeah.
Big. I knew my dad had a big month if we had red. You know, if we had red.
You know
in the
what? Your
lunchbox.
parents are getting ready to light into you. Hey, Tom, Nay, I love y'all. Good thing, hey, you made your kids hard. Don't give them too much.
That's right.
Hugs.
Hugs. That's what they're called.
Those hug
Hugs of
things.
little fruit barrels.
Yep,
But
hugs.
anyway, those were my snacks that I remember. And so, man, I bet your lunch bag was just stocked full of stuff, wasn't it?
Hey, it was good. Like hey, all of this stuff used to be the deal right
dig
here.
it.
But I can tell you right now, those, like you said, those potato straws. When you'd bump into some of those,
Special.
it's a special day.
Special day.
It
Yeah.
was a
Hank.
special day. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, buddy. Well, what you got to talk to on your agenda? I got a couple more things, but let's shoot it over to Hank. Let's see what's going on in Hank's mind.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I'm kind of in a weird spot right now. I'm kind of in a weird spot with sports. All right.
Okay.
This past weekend, I didn't get to see any of those football games,
Whoa! Why?
and they were so good.
Incredible.
So good. We had baseball practice. We had like just a lot of stuff that I could do. So I do not feel like I am in, like I don't feel like I'm invested in the playoffs. If you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Right.
Sure.
Basketball season's in a weird spot because it's not the tournament yet, and you know, as a Carolina fan, they're not great, and so you know, at this point, you're starting to ramp up to like, are they playing well? They're not.
Right.
And but you're still watching them. Great, you know. But we're not to that point. So it's and it's before baseball season. I'm just in a weird sports moment right here, if you know what I mean. Like I'm watching stuff that I normally wouldn't watch, right? Like I watched the Australian Open, which was great.
It's awesome. Yeah.
But
Are you watching cornhole?
God, no.
Okay.
But I will, like, sometimes I'll flip it around and there will be some strange crap on and I'll watch it and I'll say, what are you doing? Like diving or you know, or just some weird stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? And it's because I'm in this weird funk. Do you feel the same way?
Well, no, because I've been all in the playoffs. This is probably the best group of playoff football games I think I've ever seen in my life. It's been unbelievable. And the Super Bowl is going to be great, I believe. But another lull that you're talking about too is, so it's the last Super Bowl, you know, it's a basketball really hadn't kicked into gear. It's normally when Duke, Carolina play that first game. That's
Yeah.
when basketball feels like it's getting into gear for the ACC world around us,
Right.
you know. So anyway, that's this weekend, I believe. I think they play this weekend. So that'll make you start feeling more normal again. And, you know, and then you'll watch the Super Bowl and you'll get back
March
into it.
Madness is, March is, the tournament's still a month and a half away.
Right. Have you watched any college basketball?
Yeah, I've watched some. I watched NC State get drugged by Notre Dame.
Okay, they get drugged by Carolina just was up 38.
Yeah, saw that
And
too.
they cut it to 20. But anyway, just hang in there, buddy. You got the Super Bowl. It's right around the corner. Duke, Carolina will kind of get you feeling good. So do not be watching professional cornhole or darts.
I will not watch cornhole.
We cannot have that.
No, I will not watch that.
All right, so instead of maybe watching sports, there is a big announcement that came across the wire here a week or two. Our producer, Andrew Moose, and his wonderful venue called The Hum announced their schedule for 2022, the bands that will be coming to the wonderful Hickory, North Carolina, Hank. I'm going to let you take a couple of them. You take the first one, give them the date and the name of the band that's coming. We'll let Moose talk a little bit about each one, too, after you announce
Right.
it.
I mean, you know, Saturday, April 2nd, Trial by Fire, a tribute to Journey.
Wow.
Wow.
Moose, if you may, can you comment? Will there be a little Filipino boy serving as the lead singer?
There will not be that. That fellow will not be in attendance, no.
Okay. Have you heard them play? I mean, they sound pretty awesome.
Oh no, they're great. They've actually they played for City of Hickory proper a couple years ago, where they actually played out on the parking deck behind the tap room building or whatever.
Yeah.
That was like one of the outdoor series the city put on. So yeah, I caught them there. They were great.
Nice. Cool. And then the Mantras are the week after that, and that's a Beastie Boys tribute band. And I kind of like the idea of what you're doing here. You're going to get people out, familiar music.
That's right.
Right? Real familiar music. Get them out there dancing, having a good time, and kind of like walking them into the great music that you're going to have down the road.
Yeah, for sure. And it's even more intentional than that. So the Mantras are actually not a Beastie Boys tribute band. They're actually a jam band out of Greensboro that does a Beastie Boys tribute set.
Got it.
So they'll play basically like 3/4 of the show with Beastie Boys material, and then like weave in some like really jammy stuff. So if you don't necessarily like the Beastie Boys but like really good music too, it checks a lot of boxes there.
That sounds cool. That's April 8th at 7:30, the Mantras. Following that, Friday, April 22nd at 7:30, Caitlin Crisco and the Broadcast. Tell us a little bit about the Caitlin Crisco and the Broadcast.
Sure. So I'm just going to kind of jump ahead a little bit. We've got that weekend, that Friday, April 22nd and 23rd. We've partnered with the Rooster Walk Festival, which is a festival up in Martinsville, Virginia, and this is going to be their 12th year, and that's over Memorial Day. And we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to do a little crossover marketing with Caitlin Crisco and the Broadcast, and the next band, the next night, Soul Driven Train. Both of those bands are real familiar to Hickory. The Broadcast and Soul Driven Train have both played in Hickory a few times over the last 10 or 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And really good turnout. Folks have seen them before, and I've got a really good response. When I put out a call, I was like, what do folks want to hear? And those two names came up pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? They came up a lot.
Sure.
And just so happens they were both playing this Rooster Walk Festival, so we've partnered with that group and doing a little cross promotion there.
That's cool, and give people the opportunity to come out 2 nights, which is
Right.
pretty awesome.
That's right.
All right, Hank, go ahead and take this next one.
Oh, we got Moose and Friends playing.
You think I'm going to build a stage and not play it?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, how long has it taken for you guys to get out there? It sounds like that's a pretty big crowd coming out there. Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, so Saturday, April 30th, we're going to do our first Hickory music showcase. And
Cool.
We're going to be sharing the stage with the Red Dirt Revelators and Danny Kerr and the Skeleton Crew. All three of us, those groups have been around Hickory for quite a while, and none of us have ever shared a bill together, so we thought we would take the opportunity to do that. And, you're going to get a little bit of soul, a little bit of funk, a little bit of blues. It's going to be a fun night.
That's all the stuff we like. And following that, the next Friday, May 6th, Hank's favorite band, Dr. Bacon. Yes, Dr. Bacon live at the Home. Tell us about Dr. Bacon.
They're in Asheville. I think they refer to themselves as Appalachian Soul Funk. And they actually played Oktoberfest. The last year Oktoberfest was around, I think that was in 1918. I can't remember. Not 1918, but either 2019 or 2018.
COVID's been around a long time.
I know. But those guys are fantastic, man. Go check them out on the internet. They're killer.
Then right after that, you have Rocky Lynn that next weekend, May 14th.
Yeah,
and how many weeks is this going to be?
We're through June. We've announced through June right now. And there's one a week. Rocky Lynn, he's a singer-songwriter, I believe out of the Statesville area, and he's been on Good Morning America. He's been on a USO tour. Guy's really been around and has a really good following in our region, so we're excited to have him there on the 14th of May.
Cool. May 21st. My birthday's May 23rd, so maybe I'll check them out Saturday night. The Local Boys live. What do the Local Boys do?
The Local Boys are a bluegrass band, and they have played Merlefest for the last, I'm not kidding, 22 years. And they've had they're out of, I think they're out of the Wilkesboro area too. My good buddy Stephen Davidson, who plays the mandolin for him, I got turned on to them, and they're going to be, right off the heels of playing Merlefest like a couple weekends before, so it's going to be a good show.
Cool.
And then June 4th, another it's a ultimate Bon Jovi experience from Shot Through the Heart. That sounds like it's fun.
This one is going to be the biggest one of them all, I think, Hank. What do you think, Moose?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
I think Moose and Friends will be.
come out and see that show. But I think I'm like we said, we're going to we're giving folks a little bit of a plethora of different acts and everything they can come see. But yeah, June 4th at 8, we're going to have Shot Through the Heart. Bon Jovi tribute band. They're fantastic too, so we're looking forward to having them.
Cool. And then just a couple more. June 11th, Unspoken Tradition Live.
Right. Yep. Another bluegrass band there. I believe they're out of Asheville too, and they're smoking up the bluegrass charts right now. You catch them on the Bluegrass Junction on Sirius Radio all the time. And I think they're playing. They're playing a whole bunch of festivals around. I know they're playing the McCrory Del McCrory Festival in Rutherford too. So. So we're looking forward to those guys. That's going to be one of my favorite shows, I think.
And then one of the last few are the Allman Brothers tribute band Dreams,
right.
And that's on June 18th.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There are a couple local guys are in that band, and they also pull from really good musicians out of Charlotte.
Cool. And then last but not least, I think that's Saturday, June 25th, we've got the Foreigner Experience featuring String Theory and Beatles Tribute Live.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
Yeah, for sure. Revon, they're a band out of the Charlotte area who plays Foreigner, band Foreigner. They play that stuff note for note. It's a really fun time. And then we're also that same night are having String Theory, and they're a Beatles tribute. So if you don't like Foreigner and you like the Beatles, or vice versa, come out to that show. We got both of them coming. So.
That's so exciting, man. Well, congratulations
Thanks.
on announcing the lineup. It's just a fabulous thing for Hickory. All these great bands coming on Saturdays. It looks like most of the lineup comes, the music's on Saturday night, which is awesome. We need some weekend music for sure in Hickory, so keep up the good work, Moose. And as new bands come on, holler at us. Let us know. We'll let the world know because I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, you got it, man. We're announcing by season, so this is our spring lineup, and that's April through June, and then probably mid-May, we're going to announce our shows July through October. So
awesome.
Just kind of
so great.
Yep. Keep your eyes out.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Hank, I'm going to stay in the same vein here, and it'll be our last segment of the day. So in talking about bands and music, our little neighborhood band about a month ago, we were trying to come up with a name for our band, right? We had
the Dingle Dangles.
That's what I named it, Dingle Dangles. Actually, that name came from our friends in Raleigh, the Dingle Dangles. Once they heard our first song, they were like, that's it, Dingle Dangles. But I started thinking, let's think about the names of bands that you love. And if you really think about it, most of these band names suck. Let's think about Pearl Jam. That's a terrible band name. Hootie and the Blowfish, awful, right? Butthole Surfers, you've heard of them, right? Terrible.
The Fray.
What is even the Beatles? I think that's a dumbass name. I think the Rolling Stones is a pretty good band name to me. I think that's pretty good. Blues Traveler, that's an all right name. But can you
Hoobastank?
Hoobastank, thank you. Terrible name for a band. So I'm not going to put you on the spot or anything, but before I don't put you on the spot, which I will, what other band, can you think of a good band name?
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
What? It just doesn't make much sense. So I think Public Enemy. I think that's a great name for a hip-hop artist or a band, right? Yeah, that's a good. You like Tribe Called Quest? That's kind of cool. Hip-hop bands and artists, their names are way better than, rock and roll ones, it seems to me. Leonard Skinner.
Alabama?
That was the next question I was going to ask you. Do you like Chicago, Alabama? These bands.
Foreigner.
These bands that are named after cities. I mean, not really, right? No.
And they're not getting any better. You don't know, who's what they're taking it from, like the Fray.
Sure.
Or, what they're doing. But then you have, names that you don't even know if those are real names, like the new artist, Dua Lipa.
Right. I think that is her name.
Is that her name?
I think that's her name,
Okay,
I believe.
well,
yeah, but
God bless her.
But who would know? Like that Toad the Wet Sprocket that you mentioned, I think that comes from a Monty Python script. So anyway, bands have their own reason for coming up with names. I heard Hootie and the Blowfish, the reason it came up, they came up with the name. In their studio, there was a fish tank that had a blowfish swimming in it. Where they came up with, maybe they named that blowfish Hootie. Who knows?
Would make sense.
Would make sense. But anyway, it's tough to come up with a good band name.
Yeah.
So if you were the leader of a band, Hank, what would be your band name? And this is completely putting you on the spot.
Liquid Aggression.
Whoa. Very nice. You know what mine would be?
What?
Athens Drive.
Oh, that is so terrible.
That's an
I
awful-
think it was the way you said it that made me cringe.
I think I'm just going to stick with Dingle Dangles. I think that actually fits our band perfectly. Yes. So with that being said, buddy, anything else we need to talk about before we get a roll out of here today?
I don't think so. What are your weekends like now, huh? You don't have any big things going on? Are we
No,
free
so
this weekend?
we're going to go visit our new niece on Saturday. So
Evie?
Evie, yes, Evie Elder. So we're going to see her Saturday, maybe hang out in Charlotte as a family and hang out, eat some din. And then Sunday, liquid aggression. So Sunday,
Already one named
the
that.
weather finally is supposed to break a little bit where we might get some temperatures that'll be golf appropriate. So we're going to try to play golf on Sunday. Yes. How about you, sir?
To be completely honest, we don't have very much to do. You know, this time of year is kind of like the quiet before the storm because we got baseball and soccer and,
Yes.
you know, then you got spring break, you got Memorial Day, you got Mother's Day, you got Father's Day, you got summer trips.
Vacations.
Vacations. So, you know, you've got half of your weekends are already spoken for
Yes.
before you start putting in the stuff you want to do. So we're just going to take it easy, I think, this week and try to get a little bit of stuff done around the house because, you know, usually we're running around.
Sure. One thing I did forget, and let's mention it real quick on the air so we can, in 2 weeks, let everybody know the results. My tennis team is playing your tennis team on Thursday.
Yes.
And we are actually playing each other. Did you know this?
What do you mean?
Doubles match. You're playing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Mark and I against you and LT.
Yeah, so
anyway.
that's very funny because your partner was being very coy on who was going to be playing. So you just let the cat out of the bag.
no, I blew
have
it.
learned something
I
new.
blew
So now
it.
I will know what to wear, what to eat tomorrow.
Sure.
Try to get it under. But, you know, this is the good thing about it. This, okay? We'll have fun.
We always do.
We always do.
Doesn't matter who wins, but we'll just go out there and have fun, right?
Hey,
Yes.
may I remind you who I'm playing with?
So funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to The Big Fan. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Andrew Moose, big shout out to you. Thanks for the lineup. And a big shout out to my sister. Again, I'm very proud of you and your family. The birth of this new baby girl. I can't wait to meet her on Saturday. So with that being said, everyone be safe out there and peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.